Let's go back to yesterday in one of the races of the season.
And then came Mr. Brightside, 4 lengths off them from Chow Wolf, Steffi Magnetica, and back behind them Pericles, Pride of Jenny Hart up against the fence, and Treasure the Moment there together. 300 metres to go. It is Stamina sapping. Then came Chow Wolf joining in, and Pericles under the arches. Pericles takes the lead at the 200 metres, going with it Chow Wolf. Pericles at the 100. Chow Wolf won't give in. Pericles, Chow Wolf coming back. Chow Wolf off the canvas, and Pericles, Chow Wolf or Pericles in a photo. It's going to be.
We'll get to Matty Hill later because he's put in one of the best weeks of race broadcasting I've ever heard. But Joe Pride, our special guest on the show, opens the batting. A very good morning, Joe.
Yeah, good morning.
Joe, that must be a replay you're happy to hear. You've always been a massive fan of this horse, said that it's right up there as the best that you've trained, and Validation comes to mind, but that was one of the bravest wins you could ever hope to see on a racetrack.
Yeah, it was a very different win to what he's been able to achieve in the past with, sort of being the last man standing, swooping off hot speeds, but he once again had the hot speed, but he got there a little bit early and found that he was behind, I just love the way he responded and rallied, and I think he's really come of age now. It was a little bit of a lean 12 months after his first 2 Group 1 wins, but he's banked another couple at the end of this spring as well, so that's 4 now. Only special horses win 4 Group 1s.
That is for sure, and you are on record as saying he's the best you've trained. Tell us why.
He's told us why now, hasn't he? I mean, as I say, 4 Group 1s. Previously, think about it. If you count the Everest, which I think we should, he won 3. But he's just a quality horse who's, with any luck, still got plenty of more racing left in him. He's had 25 starts. He's very tough. He's Kiwi bred to just keep getting better as he gets older.
Joe, that was a really big stage there yesterday. We've seen it in Sydney, but great to see the horse take the show to Melbourne there yesterday. And it must be said, there's not too many horses that can come back from a position like that yesterday. Chow Wolf was in. Pericles had all the momentum up, seemingly had the measure of the horse, but to just be able to dig deep into the reserves and find a bit, it's a trait that's you can't force it. You've either got it or you haven't. That real will to win and under pressure being able to find another gear.
Yeah, no, it was really it was an amazing win, and just so exciting, the journey that the owners and myself have already been on. But as I say, what's to come as well. So there's a few of these weight for age horses now coming to their end of their careers, and it's been a fantastic administer Brightside and Via Sustina, but they're not going to be around for the next couple of seasons. And I shouldn't say that, maybe they will, but I feel like they're obviously closer to the end, and my bloke just seems to be, in the last 12 months, seems to be coming to his peak.
Gee, so Sydney Autumn for him?
Yes, yep. Yeah, we'll get him home, give him a rest. He'll travel home tonight. Won't be a long break. The turnaround from spring to autumn is quite a quick one. Yep. He'll get a decent break after his autumn campaign, but looking forward to sort of kind of stretch him out to 2,000 metres again, and whether that's the best version of this horse, well, we have to find out in the autumn because there just aren't the options at a mile that there are during the spring. So,
Joe, can you tell us a little bit about how it feels as a trainer when validation like that happens and you've got a horse that's involved in a massive race? You always seem to be very calm and relaxed and cool. Surely internally there's a fair bit going on when you've got a horse that's involved in a stoush like that prevails there yesterday. What were you feeling like internally? It's a combination of things. It's relief. As you said, there's the validation aspect of it, and I like to. We're in an entertainment industry. I like to be quite bold and forthright with my horses and my opinions of them if I think they're good. And sometimes you get shot down, and sometimes you come out on top. So nice when that happens. And it's a special moment on an amazing race course, which wasn't at its best order yesterday. It was a miserable cold day. But we forgot I temporarily forgot about the weather watching him win that. Joe, and you did say that in an article I read on racing.com, that you do love going down to Melbourne and winning these big races. And I just take your point you made there that even though it was cold, it was miserable, and the racecourse, as you said, wasn't presenting as we believe, or we always look at Flemington, but by God, it turned a day of racing on, didn't it? Yeah, it's a great carnival, isn't it? It's still probably our most iconic carnival, and we're trying to catch up here in Sydney and doing a fantastic job. And it's an amazing place to win a race, and I know you can tell by the thrill on the connections my owners faces to win down there, and it's very special.
It was just the day, though, that for the ages, I think, and Chris Waller was wonderful when asked about Via Sistina and her win. He said, what a privilege to be involved on a race day where you see the wins of Chell Wolf and Giga Kick, and to be a part of a race day like that. It's generational. For young people that went to the races there yesterday, Joe, it's the sort of race day that, despite the wet weather and the cold conditions, the actual memories that they'll have of the races themselves are the sort of memories that last a lifetime. It must have just been an electric feeling, and to hear someone like Chris Waller respect the other two Group 1 races on the day and the calibre of the wins, I think really sums up where racing's at the moment, and it's very positive.
Yes, yeah, definitely, and we need to see more of these days where we see the very best competing against each other, and that's something I hope sort of going forward that we synchronise the carnivals a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Would have loved to have had the horse in the Cox Plate, but with that 1 week gap between the King Charles and the Cox Plate, it was I deemed it impossible for him to do it, so I didn't give him a chance. But I think once we can come together and as I say, synchronise the carnivals a little bit better and see more of the good horses clashing, that's when racing's going to be at its very best.
Talking about up in Sydney, amazing race number 9, where you were able to win with Weeping Woman. I saw your pre-race interview, and you really were torn between it and Taxation, and we know how good Taxation could be. But Shani Buckley from the yard, by God, I don't know if you listened to it, but she said, look, we can't be on Taxation today, hasn't done well in the parade ring, and you need to be on Weeping Woman. Saved all our money.
Yeah, she really fell apart going to the gates, and that's a thing with a young horse having a first racing preparation. The occasion got to her. It was a really hot day in Sydney, unlike down here in Melbourne. It was early 30s, and it was all just a bit too much for her. And I sensed that when she went to the gates that we might have been in a little bit of trouble, and then she was slow away, and it all just came against her. But she's one to watch going forward. She'll be a really good filly come the autumn. But it was nice to see Weeping Woman come back and do what I thought she was going to do during the winter, but she wasn't able to win the race. But I think she's well worth following. She'll go on with it from here, I think.
Joe, Estadio Mustala was a really good winner there on Cup Day on Tuesday, and accredited not far away at all. And while it didn't go to plan for Headley Grange, what a preparation it's been for that horse. You've got so many of your team racing incredibly well at the minute.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a strong team. The addition of the Godolphin horses has really helped us out. Looking to increase our numbers. Probably not going to get those boxes, the new any new boxes until early next year, which is a little bit disappointing. But looking to increase our numbers a bit, and we've got a great team behind us, fantastic owners, and really looking forward to the next couple of seasons with a stronger team. And
just back to that Russell Walding as well from last week, your horses all ran really well, and a mate of mine got the first 4 because you on the program the week before had said Coal Crusher was one to follow, and he slipped it in, and that made that first 4 pay big. All 3 performed really well.
Yeah, and that was good. It was good, and Coal Crusher Plus, as 2 you mentioned before, accredited in the Stadium of Stella, they all head towards the Hunter this week, and we'll take Golden Mile there as well. So I've got a good strong hand in the feature up there at Newcastle on Saturday, and that sort of starts to wrap the carnival up. We've got Kembla after that, and then things quieten down going into Christmas, and it'll be good to quieten down because it's been a hectic few months, a lot of hard work. Very thankful for the team at home to get us through it, and I'll be looking. I don't know if I'll have any time off, but I could at least my brain can have a little rest.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll be looking forward to seeing the return of Chell. If you have the rest, come back bigger, better and stronger in 2026. But the team are flying, Joe. Credit to yourself and all of your team. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on the Aftermath on this Sunday morning. You've been wonderful with us right throughout the course of this spring. We do appreciate your time, that our listeners and the punters do as well, and keep up the great work, mate.
Great. Thank you very much, guys.
Joe Pride.
What a legend. What a fine man. And we've sort of touched on it a little bit last week. But the joy that we've had out of putting this show together, the industry, Marty, the wonderful people that are involved. And Joe's certainly been one of those for us. He's always picked up the phone. Yeah. And, I mean, he's a rock star of our sport. Don't underestimate it. The job that he does with some of these top-line horses, they feel the pressure when it doesn't go to plan. But on a day like yesterday, where you're on top of the world and your horse wins one of the big Group 1s, it must just be a spectacular feeling.
But his personality is unwavering. Like, correct. He comes on and he could have had the worst day ever or the best day ever, and he's the same Joe Pride.
Correct. Yeah, you wouldn't have known it in his voice. And that's why I tried to get an insight into what's going on internally, because you surely, like, even the biggest poker face man in the business surely would have been pretty fizzed up there yesterday. And talk about chalk and cheese, because I forwarded on to you yesterday some vision of Clayton Douglas with Giga Kick. Yeah. And he's basically done about 300 metres running up and down the straight trying to cheer home his charge. So everyone does it differently. There's no right or wrong way to do things. But with Joe, he's very calm, relaxed, whereas other trainers get very fizzed up and are very emotional as it all happens.
Get those texts in. We're just about getting the phone fired up. We're a little bit late out of the barriers with the Odie Cologne, but it'll be here soon. So 0427 789 571. I want to talk about Matty Hill's performance over the 4 days. That calling there yesterday, he's called it the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. How good was that? Just got you up and about when Whiskey on the Hill was able to, fight off Etna Rosser at the end of 2,600 metres, and then he just...
Another horse that was off the canvas. Like at about the 300, you go,
exactly.
This is fit. No petrol tickets, and just dig, up it came. That's a soul story, stirring stuff. Like, as a punter, you just love seeing that.
It just warmed him up for the 3 Group 1s, didn't it? It was amazing. And also another one we need to mention is Blogsy. He's been outstanding with his work on social media all this carnival. He got here for Geelong Cup, I think, was the first day he operated.
And just kept rolling from there. It's been great coverage for the sport. It's been different. It's been outside the circle. It's a different form of coverage that the mainstream aren't always looking at, but the new generation are. And that's a great challenge that I think racing is starting to get their head around and get into the right areas for this younger generation. It's taken us a while to work out where they're looking and where we need to be to pop our head up and say, hey, this is a fun day out. But over the last few years, and I think the Everest has had a bit to do with it, having been to that event and just last year and seen how many young people and what they're looking for. They want fast-paced action through the day. The racing they're okay with, as long as you've got a little bit of fruit around it. So some stuff in between races to keep them engaged, but then post-race, as we saw yesterday with Fisher, but as they do at the end of the Everest as well, a quality DJ to keep the young people. They can go and they can mix business with pleasure almost. They can have a punt and a bit of fun there, but when that's done, they get their fixer party as well at the end of it all.
I was surprised how many turned up. Here's your man Clayton Douglas now doing his bit on the sidelines. Here's one for you, and this was a man having a good day yesterday. Hi, Steve. I think it's David Fowler's birthday today. Could you do something about it? Thank you. Bye. I don't know who Steve is, but let me tell you, Chucky Fowler was backing a lot of winners yesterday. You just can tell, can't you?
Oh, you know when he's tracking, no doubt about that.
There's one there that I've got to go and find. It was just, he was very happy with its work. I got him on during the week. Did you hear him when he says never again?
Yes, I did, Got the life band. Got the life band at the shorts.
Captain Fenkel.
That's him, not to be
at Ipswich.
He did not enjoy that at all. That was maybe the last leg of a multi or two. We've all been there.
0427 789 571. Bluey's here. I did tell you to get on early markets for Super Smink. You did, Bluey. Railway fins up, Bluey. Thanks for your work for many years. Cheers, Bluey. We're not dead yet. I think we might even have another one next week. It's the show that keeps giving.
We're kicking like Chelwolf.
Off the canvas.
We're up. Keep rolling. But that was, don't let it get lost in what was a big day, obviously, there, the last day of the Flemington Carnival. But this day locally here, on Saturday was magnificent. It was an absolutely tremendous day of racing. That, of course, fresh off Friday night, Italian fireworks night here at Gloucester Park. So hasn't it been just a really magnificent weekend of racing? And it stirs your soul if you're a little bit like us and you're racing tragics. It's a great time to be alive. It really is. And seeing what we've seen on the East Coast and a day of racing like that yesterday locally, it really does fire up the belly for what's going on over the next 4 or 5 weeks here in Perth. And it could well be that we're seeing Giga Kick again. Just look at it.
Magic time had it done to a dinner.
Oh, my God. Lift up, get there. Oh, it's got up by an absolute whisker. We want some of that stuff transferred over here.
And you'll get it. Mark Zara, what a carnival he had as well. He's been fantastic. So Ryan Bell, James Sullivan, Mack Hall and Chris Halse will be our second hour. Don't forget Chris Nelson and Racetrack Ralphy coming our way. Here's Chookie.
Never to be back again. Never to be back again. Never to be back again. Never to be back again.
The captain, life man, never ever.
I'll get a couple from yesterday. He was at his top.
If you heard prior to that race, his quote was, well, this horse has flat out got 10 lengths on these. I can't see it being beaten.
Oh, so the captain?
Yeah. So they were his comments pre-race. He said, I just can't see this being beaten. It's got 10 lengths. So I've kind of gone, this will be interesting. So tuned in, and then, of course, it's not made him look all that clever. So he was pretty clear-cut that he won't be going back to that bar again.
No captain there for sure. So if you didn't catch up with it, Chad Schofield got a month off the Chow Wolf ride. Now, it's not what you think it could have been. At about the 1,400 metres, and the steward's footage is there to see, he's caught 3 deep, and Pericles is inside of him, and he said, no, I want to get in there to that one out, one back position behind Mr. Brightside, and he just tightened him up a tad, and Mellum had to come back that one space, so they gave him half a month for that, and then for whip strikes in the straight, he hit, I think, 3 extra times on Chow Wolf. But all the way up the straight, Mellum, with the whip in the right, was taking his running. So I still think had the placings been reversed, it then would have ended up in the steward's room, and I don't think they would have had any other option but to have upheld
reversed it. Yeah.
And it was interesting because Schofield puts his whip into the left to keep Chow Wolf from getting pushed further back. So to hold his ground, if you like, to hold his line while Mellum's coming back down on him with the whip in the right. So that's what I loved about the race. It wasn't just that finish. It wasn't just coming off the canvas.
It was gun riding.
But there was a lot of stuff going on in, the 1,400, the 2 coming. Because Mellum would be saying, well, you got me at the 14. I'm going to give it to you up the straight, Bucky.
Square it up. Yeah,
and so the two of them just...
Yeah.
And then the 2 horses just said, well, this is between us. These blokes on our back can do what they like, but we're going to have a little race here.
I'll tell you what, it was some performance from Pericles. I must admit, going in, I wasn't expecting it to be the horse that was potentially there with Chow Wolf, and I don't think stacks of the punters probably were either. It was a $20 chance, but gee whiz, it outran its odds there yesterday, where a few of the bigger names, the likes of certainly yesterday, Pride of Jenny wasn't at her top.
No.
Treasure the Moment probably wasn't.
It was the pick of the on paces, wasn't it? Treasure the Moment. She was tough.
Back and forth, but there were, Mr. Brightside, for it to run unplaced was a surprise as the $3.10 favourite in the race. But all honours with Chow Wolf, and it was very, very challenging conditions there yesterday as well. It must be said. Some horses get through it, some don't, and then we just got to see the class of Via Sistina once again in the Group 1 Champion Stakes, Marty, and that's two years in a row now that she's turned up, won the Cox Plate, the Champion Stakes. She now gets into pretty rare air with the achievements that she's putting together on this racetrack, and you know what I've loved about the race day there yesterday, and you talk about Mr. Brightside, you talk about Via Sistina, you talk about Giga Kick. It takes time for champions to really evolve and build up that real top-end following from the punters. We've now had a couple of seasons in a row where these horses have come back and reappeared in the big races again.
You can trust them.
We've got the result with them last year. We're going again this year. For so many years, we've had horses that have turned up for 1 year, they've been whisked off to start, or they've disappeared, and we haven't had the chance to come back and get around them again. But this year, it just seems like a lot of the stars that we were with last year, they're back for the encore performance, and we've been able to stick with them again.
See, and what I was talking about last week, we don't have enough weight for age racing here. So Via Sistina, you're a big punter. You can have 10 on her yesterday and 20 on her yesterday. And you, okay, I'm in at $1.70, $1.80.
Sure.
Wins.
Yeah.
2 lengths.
Indeed.
Just a bit like our man Blogsy. He was on her again. You know, he found her in the Cox Plate and he said, I've had another tickle today, you could tell. Yeah, so he might have had his 5 on it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you collect your $2.5 or $3,000 and there's your punting for the week. Thank you very much. But you can trust the good horses that wait for age.
Indeed. Yeah,
and have a decent bet on them.
Most definitely. Yeah, I think it's one of those things too that once you see these horses perform, and regardless of the circumstances, the really good horses just find ways to win. And yesterday was a day where the rain just kept coming. As you said, it was cold, it was wintry. Sometimes horses and people in our game just find excuses and they get beaten. But the really good ones, anywhere, anytime philosophy that we see at champion sporting teams applies to horse racing as well. The really good horses don't care what it is, they just turn up and deliver.
Well, they thought she may not be the best on that track, those track conditions, blah, blah, blah. And the other thing we need to mention is the VRC, with their changing of, which was Stakes Day to Champions Day, has been an absolute masterstroke. That has been one of probably the best reprogramming or incidents of reprogramming that I've seen in the modern era, because Stakes Day was always a great race day. You'd have that mile, the Cantala, and you have the sprint, etc. But it was marketed as family day, and even when they were getting 100,000 to the Melbourne Cup or to the Oaks, 80,000, you only get 50. But it was a good family day. But what they've gone to work on it and turned it into the best racing day, well, maybe at the Derby or Champions Day. There's not a lot in it now.
There's not a lot in it. And what it does do, though, it's clever because it allows a lot of the star performers from Derby Day to back up
the week. And horses back up so well these days.
So many of them do. And so even though it didn't go to plan yesterday and we didn't get the opportunity to see 10 Tyrus, a lot of the talk in the build-up to this week was getting to see this horse that was the star of last Saturday, front up, and everyone's thinking, oh, no, it'll get scratched because of the rain. Well, as fate would have it, it was scratched, but it wasn't because of the rain. It's because of what happened in the barriers. So I thought that was the fact that the horse had the opportunity a week later to back up, and had the weather been okay, now the horse probably turns up and is one of the star attractions there yesterday.
But then we keep winning. So
exactly right.
We got to find out if he's going to come to Perth. What a rock star he'd be. You would think after that run of Mr. The good horse, Mr. Brightside.
Yeah.
May not be coming. Could be the track. Who knows? 28 away from 7. You're listening to the Aftermath. Shorty and Marty. Coming up next, Chris Nelson.
Blah, blah, blah. Let Marty Young and David Shortte do all the talking on the Aftermath. Sunday morning at its best on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
Morning, Chris.
Morning, Marty. Morning, Shorty.
G'day, Chris. Nice to have your company. Nice to see as well there. Yesterday we got through a program of racing up in your neck of the woods. How is it looking today? You in one piece?
Yes. I think there were a few storms around last night, but none up anywhere that I was holding any race meetings in the late afternoon. Today we might get a bit of rain around the place, but yeah, all is going okay. We got through a meeting, as you said, and we did that meeting at Eagle Farm. We were on a firm 2 surface after the running of race 6. And when I get to that meeting later, I'll let you know. I think we had 4 course records throughout the day. Amazing.
Okay, Golden Gift, race 6 at Rose Hill yesterday. And a good race for Derby Racing. Revengeance beat Spicy Miss in the 2-year-olds. I think Revengeance goes into about $11 for the slipper.
Yes. Well, who would jump into that price now, Marty? It's a bit early, isn't it?
Yeah,
but anyway,
me.
There's a market there. No, not me at this stage. Look, they were entitled to run on here from the back, and they didn't. So I don't know how good some of these chasers are out the back. They're probably not that good. Revengeance, third defence, over the heels into the straight, had the right run, was too strong. I thought Spicy Miss was very good. She was 3 wide, no cover the entire trip, and she was on debut, and she was beaten, just under a length by Revengeance. And then there was a gap of 2 lengths back to third, and then another 2 lengths back to fourth, and so on and so on. So I think out of the race, obviously Revengeance is a good type, but Spicy Miss on debut was probably a better run. So we'll stick with her. Others, Artemex, who trialled really well. Very disappointing. No excuses in the steward's report. Thrill Hunters going for a spell, and the next episode pulled up 2/5 lane.
Let's move on to race number 7, the Group 2 Hot Danish Stakes over the 1,400 metres. First leg of the quaddie. It was Arctic Glamour.
The Brownlow medalist.
The outsider of the lineup, defeating Bohinia and Snow in May.
Yeah, first person I thought of when this horse hit the line was Brad. Blinker's first time. I've written here, impossible to catch. I cannot catch this mare at all. And I'm not the only one. She didn't, she hasn't had a win since the October in 2023. So, yeah, and she was $41 for a reason. So, yeah, she was in front and she kept on going. Bohinia, she was on speed. Bohinia ran on well again. No excuses this time. Had its chance. Who are the others? Miss Rumbini, wide no cover, becoming a little bit costly. Still ran third last. I thought it was still disappointing, even allowing for that 3 wide no cover. And the American mare Pounce had her first start. There was a bit of market support, but she did nothing. She was beaten 6 lengths. So maybe a quieter ride next time, they're suggesting.
Doesn't sound like it's a form race that you'll be working with too much heading forward.
No, it's a bit of a tricky one, isn't it, really, for a Hot Danish? Normally a good race. The 5 Diamonds, what about this? As Shorty said to me, Reese Jones punching out Vivier along the fence.
Punishing ride.
Yeah. Backing up from the big dance on Tuesday, second last into the straight behind an absolute wall. He just waited for the rails and they all moved off it and through he went. He blew the whistle, as you said, Shorty, and Reese Jones got the money, but had 54 kilos. Transatlantic ran second, was on speed. Offset that wide gate pretty quickly and sat outside Rise at Dawn, had 59. So there was a 5 kilo turnaround there in Vivier's favour, but that's the way it goes. Well done to all concerned there with Vivier backing up. Transatlantic for Tony Gollins, I said, was good. That's probably about it. Militarise. Well, he did look a chance, didn't he? Halfway down the straight, wide out there. I thought maybe today's his day. And he wasn't far away, but he just couldn't quite get there. So, yeah, the first 3 are the best horses in that race by a long way.
Just quickly, I think Joe Moreira had been the previous rider, the last rider to win on Militarise. He jumped on again there yesterday, gave it every chance. To getting to the stage where it's a bit of a silver and bronze medal specialist these days, Chris O?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. You know he's going to bob up and win something one of these days. But, look, that really was his race yesterday. It was a massive drop back in grey coming back from chasing Lindemann around and others in weight for age races.
Yes.
And he only had, 56 kilos, so he was well placed. He's always going to be thereabouts, but look, if you keep backing him, you know what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, indeed.
Homeless.
He'll bob up at some point, though. And then we had the fillies and mares benchmark 78. Now, this will be a good form race. There's some very nice horses in this race. We had a chat to Joe Pride earlier on this hour, Chris, and going into the race, he was very keen on taxation. But if you were tuned into the yard there yesterday here on TAB Radio, Shani told the punters taxation has absolutely blown up here in the yard. It's fizzing right up. It's sweating all over the place. You cannot go near it. However, the stablemate Weeping Woman is the complete opposite, were her words. An absolute professional, ready to go. And then Ronnie stepped in and said, well, she's one of the best of the day. If you weren't keen before, you now have to just go chips in. And it ended up being some of the best racing intelligence a minute before a race I've heard for a really long period of time. It was excellent. And that's the sort of stuff that keeps people tuned in to TAB Radio and to racing services Australia-wide that have got those really clever people that are there and seeing it as it's unfolding. Because if you're not at the track, you don't see that and you just fall into taxation and you think, oh, well, what a terrible performance. Well, Joe then has backed that up today and said, look, don't hold that against the horse. First time there on a big race day, first preparation, get around the horse. It'll be better long term. But out of it, Weeping Woman comes out, wins really well, and you say, well, that's no big surprise. Taxation runs poorly, and you say, well, we understand there's excuses and you don't put a line through it long term.
Yeah, you're right, 100% right. Great information, and good to see people have an opinion, Shorty, isn't it?
Yes.
Not just sit on the fence.
Have
an opinion, and Shani did, and that was a great effort by her. Hopefully some of those punters watching on and listening in, hadn't had a bet, were going to back Taxation, didn't, because she certainly put the line through it, and good on her. She does a great job. So we don't sack Taxation. Look, the tempo didn't suit either. They ran home in 33.01 here. It was a mad sprint home. Weeping Woman led. The run of the second horse, Spirit of Wealth, was quite good. I expected that one to be up near the lead. Wasn't the case, but ran on well against the tempo. So I think we can follow Spirit of Wealth, probably the winner as well, but certainly don't sack Taxation.
She's done that 2 weeks in a row. She did it last week as well. Yep. Shortte cannot remember the horse, but she said, you can't be on this one. And Ronnie didn't fall in. He learnt very quickly.
Yes.
And this time he said, no, well, I'm going with you. No, look, I'm talking through my pocket. I was already on Taxation. I was right. I've saved on Weeping.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Well, and they're both Joe Pride horses, and I'm a Joey man, so I thought I'll roll back the other way. And
so we need to send something to Shani in the mail.
She deserves a bottle of something, doesn't she? Yeah, that's the truth. Now, Chriso, let's see if we can't have a look up there at the Eagle Farm program. I didn't mind the racing there, and there were some nice types throughout the course of the day. Tell us a little bit about the winner negotiations for Ryan Maloney.
Well, I'll tell you quickly about the track first, if that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Super fast. Races 6 to 10 with a firm 2. Now, they equalled the course record in race 2. They set a new track record in race 5. They set a new track record in race 6. And then they beat the record that they equalled in race 2 and race 7. So I hope that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it does.
So that was a very, very fast track at Eagle Farm yesterday. Now, race number 3, negotiations. This was interesting, and I wanted to touch on this race because First Mission from the Kelly Schweder stable had one start for the stable and led. Well, sat outside the leader in a softly run race and was too strong. Interestingly, yesterday, in a race with no speed, they jumped and decided to take a sit 3 lengths off the lead. And, of course, negotiations ran to the front and was able to hold off First Mission, who ran home late, was the best run in the race. But you've got to ask, why did they not go forward?
Yeah.
There's a missed chance there for the stable. So that was a mad sprint home. First Mission sat off them, shouldn't have. And in no way known, guys, am I talking through my pocket there. We'll move on to the next race.
No. Okay, just before we go on to race number 7, we mentioned the great man David Fowle. I think it was his birthday. Someone texted in. He was having a good day. You could tell he was having a good day. Have a listen to him, Ed. You think he may have backed Cavalry Man?
He wanted to run out, but he's well clear. And the favourite backers are saying, go, Cavalry Man! And Cavalry Man bolted in. You know, the Mannerheim or Sun Worshipper.
The grey. He was pretty happy with the grey there yesterday, Chris O.
He was, and the one the other week was even better when Cosmo Centaurus won, and he said, go, Cosmo, go!
Did you hear Captain Fenkel during the week?
Oh, yeah, he gave that an absolute spray.
Never to be backed again. Never to be backed again. Never to be backed again.
He's a beauty. I
love it.
He's a beauty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he is outstanding.
He's one of ours, though. The punters love hearing from punters, and Chookie certainly he puts himself out there.
Now, my horse snuck under my guard. I didn't see it in. Grafter Burners. My goodness, 480.
Well, that was the thing. He hadn't really moved in the markets during the week, and we're all waiting for a market move. And look, probably 6-7 minutes out, he did firm up, but then he got out again. But the query was, he's a horse that gets back. And this firm track yesterday, they weren't really making a lot of ground, particularly 1,200-metre races. So what happened? He led, and he was never going to be run down. It was a bit of a sprint home. Once he got there, he had a pretty easy time, and he was too strong. He's better than those. So if he was in front of them in the run, they weren't going to run him down, and they couldn't. So he beats Royal Mover, who travelled up beautifully in the straight, but was no match. The rest, little fella, probably just ridden too close this time. He wants further as well. But all honours with Grafter Burners, and he'll have a little bit of a rest, because he does get a bit fat on Kelly, apparently, and he'll be back for some other races over the summer.
All right, and we rounded out with the Class 3 plate there yesterday. Success for Margot's Deal. Think Hard and Fast was runner-up. There was a protest, second v first.
Yes, unfortunately it was frivolous in the old frivolous category there, Shorty, but I wish it hadn't have been. But look, Think Hard and Fast was good. So was Margot's Deal. I mean, they did stand out, I thought, here. Margot's Deal hadn't started since the 4th of October. She'd been accepted and scratched many times. I'm not sure what was going on there, but she's only lightly raced and she's quite smart. This was a mad sprint home and she got home along the inside. Think Hard and Fast was held up. He didn't have the best of luck. He wouldn't have probably beaten Margot's, but he'll win a race soon. So follow those two, definitely.
Before we get the horses to follow overall and some winners today, hopefully. So the argument on firm tracks and watering tracks, etc., and Racetrack Ralphy, who'll be coming up, he's a proponent of having firmer tracks. So you're on a firm 2. Have a listen to the prices of the winners yesterday. $3.60, $2.50, both favourites. $11 in race 3, $3.70, $2.30 favourite, $2.35 favourite, $4.80, $2.70 favourite, $6.50 and $1.60 favourite. It's been a pretty good day for the punters. It's interesting to see how these... I go through the stewards report and find out how many have pulled up sore or lame or, jarred up on a firm track.
Yep.
Because Ralphie's he seems to have a point that you get on those firmer tracks, the good firmer tracks, and favourites just seem to win.
Yeah, I agree. I'm talking purely from a tipster punter point of view. I love them. I think the form is much more... They run truer to form. You can do the form a lot easier when you know what you're going to get. So, yeah, I don't mind them at all. I'm in the same corner as Ralphy. I love them. I find it a lot easier. And, yeah, with those winners yesterday, they all ran true to form, so therefore most of us had a good day.
It's often, too, a pretty predictable race pattern. When these hard and fast decks, up on top of the speed is normally the spot to be.
Yep.
They can roll to the top, use a rail as a guide, rate, and then it becomes almost mathematically impossible for other horses to beat them. And Boomtown Boss, a really good example of that there in the last yesterday. And the Grafter Burners was another really good example of it. Once those quality horses roll to the top and get it on their terms, turning for home, all bets are off. You just know what the outcome's going to be, bar something crazy happening.
Yeah, you're dead right. Look, I don't think we'll see a firm 2 anytime soon. They generally, they must have just missed out on a bit of watering there at some stage, because Eagle Farm does dry out really quickly, as we know, and we haven't had a lot of rain around. So, I don't think you'll see the firm 2 again, but you'll certainly see good 3s going forward.
Will we see a winner or 2 at the sunny coast today, Chris?
Tough day, Shorty. I'm going to just give you one each way, but strictly each way. Race 3, number 1, Rustenburg, who resumed from a long, long spell with a really good run at the same track recently. I know they can bounce a little bit second up off a long break, but I think each way he should at least run a place.
All right, so Rustenburg, $6 and $1.90 on the fixed odds with Tap Touch. That'll do us for a little play there at the sunny coast. Race 3, number 1. Chris, looks like we'll be joining you again this time next week. We'll chat then.
Oh, I hope so. I look forward to it, guys. I hope that's the case.
So do we. Thank you, Chris.
See you guys. Have
good man.
Day.
There he is, Chris Nelson. Quick break. Ralphie's next. Racetrack Ralphy, a very good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Fair bit's happened in racing since I last spoke to you. Obviously, Jamie Mellon's now a Melbourne Cup winner, as his team McAvoy. Strictly Business was fantastic in the Oaks. And yesterday it was dead set like footy season. But we've got 3 Group 1 winners and we'll go through them.
Indeed, Ralphie. Well, where would you like to start? Do you want to go to the Group 1s?
Yes.
Let's go to the 3 Group 1s and we'll work our way back from there. First leg of the quaddie there yesterday, the champion sprint over the 1,200 metres, and Marty and I have been marvelling at some of the finishes there yesterday. This was one. Giga Kick looked like Magic Time had it cold, and Giga Kick lived up to its name, just kept on kicking. Maybe it was the urgings of the trainer, Clayton Douglas, trackside cheering it on that got it home, Ralphie, but it was a stunning win. Magic Time there in second, and Jolie Star back in third.
Yeah, they were good pictures, weren't they? So we had a genuinely, I would call this a heavy 11. That's how wet the track was with these. Now Vince's figures are through. They're absolute slogfest. So Giga Kick, the old boy, he wanted to win, and no question about that at all. And Magic Time, who didn't have a hard run in the Everest and was proven on the wet track, wasn't hard to find, particularly once there was a little bit of money coming forward. Of course, as we know from this stable.
Yes.
But you can blame me. I took a quaddie with Magic Time as well. So in the end, the penguin gets me again. But no, this was. I'll tell you what's a really good filter. And I do this with my preview pods with Vince. But that sole focus set for a grand final is so important. Like, who knows on a dry track? But Jolie Star's grand final was the Everest, and Ted Torres was scratching the barrier. But Giga Kick from the time it came into the stable was set for that race yesterday.
Yep.
And it got the main prize. Magic Time was super, and Jolly Star. This race repeatedly sees beaten favourites who had run in the Everest. So I dare say that there's a logic to it, and that is the Everest is just such a hard race, and they cleared out from the rest. Libertad handles the wet and ran to her best, and I think Benedetta is actually one that's now ready, now that she's had that hard run, and the blinkers went on, and second start for Kieran Maher.
Yeah, she loomed, didn't she, and then just didn't finish it off, so probably next start it. The Champions Mile, tell us about this win of Chow Wolf and Pericles after a fantastic battle up the straight.
Yeah, once again, I had Pericles in the cutting. I took a Chaos cutting just in case, so, oh dear, could have been a result and a half yesterday. So, look, how's this for some numbers for you? Fun fact, Pride and Jetty yesterday would have been trailing Pride and Jetty last Saturday at the 800-metre mark by 0.6 of a length.
Really?
Yesterday the track was bottomless, and the track was gold court at F2 last Saturday. So,
yeah.
Unsurprisingly, Pride and Jetty tape off. But this also said that... I'm just about to see 1A in the Damien Lane Fan Club, but they actually, there was a bit of Pride and Jenny paranoia with the tactics there on Trish at the moment.
Yep.
That's just completely unsustainable to be able to try and keep up with that, particularly like maybe if she was fresh when she was in that Memsy form, but coming back from the 2000 to try and force her at that pace, that was a gas out. And these horses were completely legless in the straight, and it just became a complete dogfight. They absolutely got their tactics right, both on Chia Wolf and Pericles. And Pericles normally is a go-forward horse, which underlines just how unsustainable the speed was up front. And in a dogfight, it could have gone either way. The eyelash went to Chia Wolf. And what was interesting with the pattern was this time last year, he was super at the Epsom, and then he went to another level in the King Charles. And this year, the King Charles was his first really good run with the blinkers on. So he actually now has got a pattern of when he goes big, he goes bigger again. So that was just a super performance. But Pericles is a war horse, and Bjorn Baker's going to continue to have a lot of fun with it. Steffi Magnetic, just a speed dragged out of her. It was obviously a long way back to the rest, but I think from next autumn onwards, I wouldn't be surprised if Trish at the moment still can get to that mantle as one of the best mares in Australia before we get to the best one.
And Ralphie, we had a chat to Joe Pride earlier on this morning. He made a really good point. He wasn't degrading the opposition or downplaying them, but he did sort of say a couple of the horses that have been at the top end at Group 1 level over the last couple of seasons may well now be coming towards the end of their time there, and it's an opportunity for his horse, Chow Wolf, to add to those 4 Group 1s in the upcoming autumn and spring.
Oh, 100%. I mean, how long can Mr. Brightside keep going? And that included an overseas trip. And I was adamant that Mr. Brightside was still a couple of legs, 2 or 3 legs below its best. But yes, the wet track, that was his opportunity to bring it. He just couldn't. So whether that's the end of the road for him, time will tell. But certainly there's signs that it's a changing of the guard for sure.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, we got to see the dual Cox Plate winner, Via Sistina, prove too good for them in the Champions Stakes. Zambardo was very good. Tom Kitten was back in third. And Piers had a good preparation. It was back in fourth. But the punters came, they emptied out, and they got the result there yesterday with Via Sistina.
Yeah, 100%. So, a couple of things. I'll just underline how heavy that track was yesterday. The raw time was 27 legs below the standard, so that they were just dead set legless. But Via Sistina, once it's adjusted for the going, she was too good. And point I made to you guys after Cox Plate, I just had that feeling that she was going to elevate again because she had 3 really walking tempo races leading into the Cox Plate, and that gave her a chance to get to the next level, and she did. She's just far too good, and hopefully we'll get to see her for another year. We'll certainly get to see her in the autumn anyway. Sam Bardo ran way out of its skin, and there was enough money to say this stable has such a huge opinion of it. It was obviously there for a reason. I don't know if it's going to Perth, but dear me, it's if it's out your way, it's going to be running a race.
Should do, yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be a perfect. Maybe now that its ratings are gone, try the Northerly or something like that. But it's clearly a very, very good horse. And Tom Kitten and Pierre, as you said, is ran well. Light infantry man, probably a little bit disappointing amongst those that were in the market away from the Superstar.
Go back to the English banner. 2-year-olds go at it here. Street Boss had a great day. Calamari Ring, but on a day when horses kept coming off the canvas, owned over here in the West Streisand by Rennie Gardner. By gee, both its 2 runs have been fantastic. This was a great race to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a real dogfight. They both wanted these young horses, so they were completely spent late. But actually, the figures weren't too bad once you adjusted for the conditions. It'd be interesting to see what development they've got going forward.
Sabaj, nice winner of race number 2, the Ronald McDonald House.
Well, on a day where it's grand finals for Medi, and Medi will be spelled, this is a star.
Yep.
I'm absolutely adamant about this.
So am I.
If all it had to do was handle the wet track, which was okay, that's a fair query, and some did, but it was an unknown going into that race, and it smashed them. It probably would have been a 6-length job on a good track. That's how much it had on that field. So, yeah, it's going to have to lift again, going up in class, but I think it's got absolute capabilities to do so. So this is one horse you can follow with a lot of confidence. Mary Eliza didn't do much first up last prep, but 1 second up at Caulfield, so this was a good elevation. I think it's going to be in for a good prep too from here.
You don't know if you don't know, and all the talk about Sabaj not handling the track, so I went, what's the wet? Hasn't been on one. Hasn't been. It's not that it had failed. You just didn't know if it.
Yep.
So
was known to handle it.
It's dropping out of a Silver Eagle into an 84. It probably should have nearly won the Silver Eagle, Ralphy. It was
100%.
That big a run, drops to an 84, and you go, well, I think I might just take a chance on that it does handle it.
Yeah. Those that did were rewarded.
Particularly when it had that much in the field. Yeah.
Well, into the third, the Fisher Stakes. It was needs some luck, and Jamie Mellerman, too good for De Bergerac, and big swinger De Bergerac. I tell you what, he nearly got it again, missed the kick.
Nearly got it again.
Yeah.
What about those shades, Fisher, too? Love some of the vision
shades
of
good.
Fisher with Jamie Mellon. Ralphie, the week, Marty and I have been talking about it today. The racing's back. Make no mistake, racing's back. The vision we've seen of Flemington this week, the Everest, Caulfield Cup the same weekend as the Everest being on. There's a lot of really positive signs of racing having a bit of a buzz about it again at the minute.
Oh, for sure. The hecklers had the stage a bit over here, for both in Melbourne and Sydney, and now that they've been quietened down, they were really disappointed. They had a bad Melbourne Cup day because every horse was safe, and all those type of things. So the gibbering idiots can just sit at the back because there's nowhere you'd rather be on a race day from this side of the country to yours. But if you're doing your best, frock up and go enjoy yourself.
Correct.
And it's still the best. It's still the best place to be, and it's been proven again. And as I said, as you guys said, Derby Day was awesome because the weather was good. Weather was still bad yesterday. The crowd was still unbelievable. So racing is back in Melbourne, and can't wait to see what you guys produce over the next few weeks.
Oh, we're going to produce plenty. Don't worry. We've been going, and as I said to Shorty, we've been providing the dessert. The entree, the main course has been you guys over there, but we certainly haven't been letting anyone down. If you've been tuning in to Ascot Racing on the Saturday after all the glitz and glamour of Sydney and Melbourne have gone, we've been putting on some very good racing. And to watch King of Light yesterday, wow! We've got some exciting horses running here at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I start absolutely tuning in via doing some black bookers and some preview podcasts, and can't wait to get my teeth into it.
Oh, you'll have a lot of fun. Ralphie, black bookers from the full day there yesterday for us.
Oh, just nice and simple. Just make it. Well, I'll make it both Sabaj and Mary Eliza for different reasons. But Sabaj is going absolutely to stakes level for sure. And then from Cup Day, there were a couple there that were impressed. But obviously the three Brownlow votes to Jamie Mellon and the McAvoys.
Beautifully done, Ralphie. We'll do it again next week.
Good on you, boys.
Thanks, Ralphie. Happy to discuss it, and we're happy to hear more about anything that's going on in your weekend. Have you agreed with us? Have you been over in Melbourne and you tuned in this morning? If you have, let us know about your Flemington Carnival experience. What was it like? I know Gemma's mum and dad went over for the Melbourne Cup and had a wonderful experience. They went over on a cruise, had a great time there on Tuesday. I'm sure plenty of our listeners would have been over. How did you enjoy it? Tell us a bit about your spring. Have you been to the Everest? Have you been to the Flemington Carnival? Did you go to the Cox Plate? If you're one of our listeners that have been on the Big Bird and flown across to these big race meetings that have been going on over on the East Coast, tell us a bit about your experience and share it. Have you loved it? Are there things that we can learn from it over here in WA? Send it through to the text line 0427 789 571. And Marty and I, just off air while the news was on, were chatting. Today's the big day. Bryce Cotton takes on the Perth Wildcats in this big grudge match.
What's the betting?
The betting is very much slanted in Adelaide's favour. So they have got home court advantage. Wildcats, I'm still Well, I'm still not sure who they are, to be honest, this new side. And to be honest, John really hasn't, he just hasn't got
You've
me.
never been a really man.
Haven't. He hasn't done it for me. He just hasn't done it for me. And they haven't done it as a side since he's been in charge. And we were spoilt with Trevor Gleeson. I was such a big fan of his, and just the team were just so driven and motivated, and accordingly got great results while he was in the chair. And I know it's a different side now, but gee whiz, the results haven't been there. Anyway, today it's Adelaide 148, the Wildcats 265. That line's at 5.5, and total points is at 178.5.
What about the marketing opportunity missed here by the NBL? They are asleep at the wheel. You've got Wildcats 36ers. You'd think that would be game one here in Perth, wouldn't you?
And what are we up to? Round 9, 10? Like, it's been... How's it taken this long for this matchup?
And you have it over there.
Yeah, over
You'd
in that.
fill this joint.
Oh, in a heartbeat. And can you imagine the chat afterwards? Because win, lose or draw, there are going to now be, the way that it's all unfolded, as much as I've loved Bryce Cotton, there's going to be a percentage of the fan base that are going to boo him.
Yeah,
so that will blow up. The media out of it will be massive. It's going to be very interesting.
Big night here Friday night. It was the Golden Nugget.
And back behind them chasing Rex, and Copycat Queen is still trying to work into the clear. Battles Pride in front, has them off the bit on the turn, leading by neck to Alter Tribute. Wave Rider is out wide running on. Copycat Queen gets to the outside in the straight, 28-2. Battles Pride just in front, the outside Wave Rider, Alter Tribute, and back behind them coming through late, Just Call Me Mitty hitting the front. Wave Rider though, Just Call Me Mickey's going to fly late. Wave Rider in front, Just Call Me Mickey flew. Wave Rider has won the Golden Nugget from Just Call Me Mickey.
Yes, very impressive performance from Wave Rider. Trainer Ryan Bell's been good enough to join us on this Sunday morning here on the Aftermath. Good morning to you, Belly, and congratulations in front of what was an excellent crowd here on Friday night at Gloucester Park. That would have been a very proud moment for you. Well done.
Yeah, morning, fellas. Yeah, it was a real good crowd. Well, it always is Italian night, but yeah, it was a proud moment. Yeah.
Some sort of a drive, I thought. First off, let's get this one ticked off by Jack Callaghan on your horse.
Yeah, wasn't it a good drive? Yeah, he mapped out a plan on how he was going to get through the race, and it worked out exactly to how he wanted it. And yeah, he pulled it off. And you know, when he copped that bit of a check at the 450, I was like, oh, that's him done. But to the horse's credit, he picked himself up and got the job done.
I was about to ask you about that. It looked like, was it one of the Hall horses, Bondi horses, just seemed to lay out a little bit? What actually happened there?
I think Jack went to actually go, and the horse that he was following just really stopped at that same moment. And with Wave Rider's extravagant action, I think he just climbed on top of the wheel, and he just blundered in his action a bit, which it could have been worse than what it was, but thank God it wasn't.
Coming through that performance, how's the horse woken up on Saturday morning, and now we're another day on? Was it the sort of run that the horse felt, or is he feeling well out of that performance?
No, excuse me, he actually come through the run unbelievably well. Yesterday morning, he had just had dapples from head to toe. Yeah, he was rock hard fit going into the race. So I think, you know, and we haven't heard him this whole prep. He's had nice soft runs to make sure that he was spot on for Friday night. And yeah, I actually cannot believe how well he's come through the run.
Okay, so you got him that good. What's the next plan for him?
So I got told on Friday that was a qualifier for the Pacing Cup. So I guess we will go for that. He'll have another run in a fortnight, and then to top him off to go into the Pacing Cup. We started him in the Nullarbor and the Fremantle Cup at the start of the year, and I think that's been the making of him. It's really mentally strengthened him up, which was the plan. And yeah, now that we're qualified and we don't have to prove ourselves, we will give him a crack.
Yeah, you can do it on your terms as well, which is nice, Ryan. But great to see on the night as well, Kevin Jevons. Hasn't he been a great man in harness racing here in Western Australia? A lucky owner, many would say, but he's put his money where his mouth is over the years. He's invested in a lot of quality stock, and tremendous to see him taking out the Retrovision Golden Nugget there on Friday night. What a mighty man he's been in pacing.
Yeah, he has, and especially with me. I think the first horse I had for him was an old horse called Greyhawk, and he's just gone on from there. And, yeah, some say he is a lucky owner, but he also has a lot of horses that we don't see that go through the system as well. And, as you know, Shorty, with good horses, it's not all smooth sailing. Like, he has had a lot of good horses, but he has a lot of good horses with a few issues, and it gets frustrating sometimes, but he's been very patient, and he's thrown a lot of money into his horses, and, yeah, he deserves all the rewards.
So, back to this horse, it's fair to say that he hadn't been at his top since probably earlier on this year, and he's had quite a few starts. So, what was going on there?
His runs, well, he had those races at the start of the year where he, like I said, we put him in those free-for-all races.
Yep.
Yeah, for a purpose of mentally strengthening him up. He was just a little bit vulnerable. He had a lot of issues as a late 3-year-old this time last year, Derby time, like feet issues and all that, and just took him a while to get over it. And then we got him good around Nullarbor time, but just quite good enough. And so we put him in the strengthening. But this time in, Marty, even though his numerical form looked a bit up and down, his every run had been absolutely perfect. Like, from bad draws, we drove him absolutely cold with this race, the target, and, yeah, it paid off. So I would say, no, his form has actually been very good this time in.
Now, Ryan, we then went on to the free-for-all, and Magnificent Storm was obviously, again, phenomenal, but you would have taken great heart out of the performance from Swingband. Marty had a chat a couple of weeks ago to Aidan DeCampo in regards to this horse, and he was really, I guess, in a similar vein to what you're discussing with Wave Rider. You're just taking your time with Swingband to have this horse peaking when the top level races are on, and run by run we're just starting to see that gradual improvement with Swingband. I thought it was an excellent effort there on Friday night, and that gradual improvement to be peaking at the right races. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that progression as we speak.
Yeah, we are. His work the last 2 weeks has given me signs that he's getting back to his best. But this time in, Shorty, it's been a hassle getting the weight off of him. He's an absolute pig. He's obese. He's still he's carrying too much weight. I think he's still 20 after Friday. He's still 22 kilos over what his peak weight was when he ran third in the Nullarbor last year. So, yeah, we've still got a long way to go, but it's been very promising signs the last fortnight.
So did he get away in the spell, or what happened for him to get so big?
He's always been a gross horse, Marty, and that's why we've had sound issues with him, because he's just so gross. But this time, I suppose, because he's a bit like myself, the older I get, the fatter I get. So I think it's just age thing, and it's just taking longer than normal to get it off him. But I can't work him any harder than what I'm doing. He gets worked twice a day, and it's just so at one stage I was working him with a rug on just to make him sweat more to get the weight off of him. And yeah, he's been hard work for that. But yeah, like I said, the last fortnight has been very promising.
You can see it's starting to turn. Well, let's hope that both him and us can work things out over the upcoming weeks. Also on the night, just wanted to touch in the last race there on the program, you had Control the Room finishing third. Didn't go to plan for Charivari, but out of the runners on the night, obviously we know the feature race, but is there one runner there for the listeners to maybe jot down into the black book? Is it Swingband maybe in the upcoming weeks that we can keep an eye on and maybe get a result out of at odds?
Yeah, maybe. I think the one that stands out the most for me is Hillview Bondi.
Yep.
Like he's just the most consistent horse I've ever trained, and he's as tough as old boots, and he's in career best form. And again, I can't see any reason why he won't continue on with that form. He's just low flying at the moment, and it's getting frustrating that the opposition aren't respecting him like they should. But we'll just keep drilling him like he does because that's the way he loves it. And yeah, I'd say keep following Hillview Bondi and Swing Band, Minstrel and Magnificent Storm and Mr. Smarty. I think they're just, many lengths better than them, and we're not far behind them when we're 100% right with the draw. But yeah, Swing Band maybe and Hillview Bondi.
Shout out there too to Aidan Ocampo in that race. Remember last week he said on this program, Rock and Roll Artist is the one to follow. It'll be in a race next week. The draw. I said to Hayden King, Wednesday's draw. I know it's a terrible draw though.
$17.
So thank you very much.
So he's a beauty,
unbelievable tip that. So hopefully Hillview Bondi will do similar there, Ryan. And just one last one. I just want to know your thoughts on Jack Callaghan, because I've got a theory that he's really starting to drive this track now particularly well, and I'd imagine Gloucester Park would take you, a little bit of time to get used to driving the nuances of this 800-metre track, but also against the drivers that you're driving against every week. And is it just a case that he's starting to really get it now that he's been here for a bit?
Yeah, yes and no. Like he's obviously world-class driver. He's been everywhere. But you got to remember, Marty, like in Sydney, they're very Americanised over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to America and blah, blah, blah. But, but you also need horsepower to be aggressive. And our stable hasn't been going to the best. It's only the last couple of weeks that we've started to hit form. We've had a few health issues. And in my opinion, he has not done one thing wrong on any of my horses. They just either haven't been good enough or something's been wrong on the night.
Yep.
And like I said, you can't prove yourself if you don't have horsepower. And Friday night was probably the first night since he's been here that most of his drives were actually good chances. And he capped it off by showing people how good he can be, because his drive on Wave Rider was just unreal.
Yep.
So, you can't prove yourself without horsepower.
Beautifully done. All the best, Bally. Continued success throughout this important time of the year for harness.
Yeah, appreciate it, fellas. Well done. Cheers.
Thanks, Belly.
There he goes, Ryan Bell, our man. Coming up next, loves the harness as well. James Sullivan, a very good morning.
Hello, Marty. Hello, Shorty. I do indeed. Still love my harness. Brought up with it and love it.
Many a big Men of League night out here trackside at Gloucester Park, Sol.
Oh, haven't we kicked that home a few times? Yeah, we've had a bit of fun there. So, no, it's good. It's good, and I watched that the other night, and a great night of racing as well. And Belly, well done, mate. Good work to him. But boys, it's I'm looking forward. I'm going to be there in 2 weeks. Actually, I'm heading to GP.
Beautiful.
After the test, locked up, beautiful.
After the test. That'll be interesting.
Ooh, there will be a bit going. Some pretty interesting characters post stumps there on that particular evening, I'd say, Sol. But there's lots of winning going on from an Aussie perspective. Hopefully that rolls over to when the test match starts, the Ashes from a cricket perspective. But let's touch on the Ashes from a league perspective. And it was the Kangaroos 30-8 winners with the clean sweep over England there overnight. I stayed up and watched this one, and again, the ball movement was very slick from the Kangaroos. There was no love lost between the two, and it was a little bit of icing on the cake for Reece Walsh late in the piece, with him getting over a couple of times. In the end, though, just a different level of class last night, the Kangaroos.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Shorty. And I like what you said. There was no love lost, because I think the Australians probably felt like they were sort of handcuffed in games 1 and 2 with their aggression. And I just think there was some, I haven't forgotten that moments last night. And as you said, we started well. Josh Okada scored in the 4th minute, and then Hutto Young in the 25th. And, we were going along nicely, weren't we? And all of a sudden, George Williams scores for England. And we go to the half-time break, and we're thinking, 12-6, even amount of possession it was as well. We had 51%, they had 49%. But the second half, we just, as you said, they couldn't keep the shackles on Harry Grant all series. He scored, and then, they looked after Reece Walsh in game 2, but, he grabs 4 tries for the series and did what he had to do. But as I said, I really thought there was a little bit of payback for a little bit of nonsense in game 2.
Okay, 30-8 was that final score as well. Munster wins game of the series. Reece Walsh 2 tries there last night. I want to ask you about Cleary. He doesn't seem to combine that well with Munster. That's the first thing I want to get from your opinion on that.
Yeah, but it depends which way you say combine, because in rugby league, you normally one of your halves plays right, one of your halves plays left. And and very rarely do they combine together, Marty. That's
okay.
The big thing.
All right.
Obviously, Nathan Cleary looks after that right edge, doesn't he? So that's his edge, and the left edge is Munster's. So that's the big thing. I know what you mean. I know where you're coming from, but I think obviously on that right edge was Hutto Young. He scored again last night. We saw in game 1, Crichton came up with 2 tries on that left edge with Munster. But yeah, it's interesting. I know what you mean. I thought you were going to say, does Nathan not, really go to the next level in Test footy?
Well, I was going to say, that's the next one. Internationals and Origin, he doesn't seem to go to that level that he shows when he's playing for Penrith.
And that's an interesting point you make, in particular Origin and, Test matches, because the bloke at the back is Isaiah Yeo, which is his number 13, and the ball he gets, mate, he would get the ball off Isaiah Yeo more than any other player in a year. That's the thing. He'd get the final pass off Yeo more than any other player. So obviously the combination there doesn't work. But I thought they were pretty good in game 1 and 2, and I think they just, at the end of the day, Nathan's kicking game's what controls it for Australia in these Test matches throughout the series, and that's the way they use him.
It was elite last night, 5 for 5, and the first one clipped the crossbar on the way through. But you could see the crowd in the background giving it to him big time. It meant to be pretty challenging to stay tuned in when you can see he's focused in on making sure that he nails the belly of the ball and gets the kick right. But you could see he was copping plenty, and to his credit, 100% there last night, 5 for 5, and it's one of his real strengths, as you touched on, Sul.
Mate, I tell you what, Shorty and Marty, that ground, I was there 3 years ago at Leeds. It is elite for that. You are right on the crowd. You can say what you like. You can ask him how much money's in his pocket. You can do whatever you like. But that's how close you are. But you're right. You got to brace it out, haven't you? But unfortunately for England, England scored 2 tries in 3 tests.
Yep. 2 tries.
They didn't have any problems with kicking for goal, did they?
No.
Fair dinkum.
Tell me about.
They were poor.
Tell me about. Should Mitch Moses didn't play? Did he? Did he have a go?
No, he didn't play. He didn't get a run. He was one of the players. Obviously, as we know, what do we use? 18 players. So there were 6 who didn't get on the field in the 3 Test series. But that was always going to happen. Right. At the end of the day, and I spoke to a few mates. They go, he's missed out. But they're not going to give away jumpers. Unfortunately, no midweek games because now the way the system's set up with the players' associations and all that they're not going to stay any longer. We're into November now, and they've got the mandatory 6 to 8 week stand down. A lot of these players won't be back at their clubs till the middle of January. So, which, as you know, we've got a World Club Challenge happening in February. So, a lot of these players won't have a very big pre-season at their clubs.
So you got a new CEO at Manly, Jason King.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, Kingy's there. That'll be interesting, won't it? He didn't last. Well, it's amazing. Whenever the CEOs say that everything's okay, they're on their way out. So it'd be interesting to see how Manly's got a bit of work to do at that club. But yeah, I tell you what, it's really amazing to think today, and we are in November, as we said, the first, and it all closes down today, doesn't it, with the Pacific Finals. Which I'm really looking forward to. The Kiwis taking on this Samoan side. They were very, very good in game 1, and both of them when they've met each other in the opening rounds, and the Kiwis got over the top of that. And obviously we've got the Jillaroos taking on the Kiwi Ferns as well. So big day to finish it. I tell you what, boys, sold out CommBank Stadium at Parramatta.
Excellent.
International Rugby League, it's been an Achilles heel for rugby league for a long time, but I can just see now the international flavours come back into it.
It's great to see. It is, and it's a rare opportunity for players to. State of Origin's huge, but to represent your country, I think for a while there was so many of the players were more worried about State of Origin than representing your country, and it should never be that. State of Origin should be a big deal, but above all, representing your country should always be the number one treat and pleasure in sport and thing to aspire to. So let's hope that there's more success in that international platform for all of the players heading forward. And so before we get into any plays you got for us this week, I just wanted to wheel out the red carpet and congratulate you on the old Roccolini last week, if you don't mind, punters. So even when he didn't have a play for us from the world of rugby, he said, what about you get around now race 5, number 3 last week, Roccolini, lobs us an $8.50 chance, if you don't mind.
Little Bruno stuck the neck out beautifully, didn't he? Yeah.
It's a nice performance.
Alicia Collett, God bless her. God bless her. Yeah, no, it was good. And the listeners, just keep an eye out at Gundy Guy on Friday. We've got the Snake Gully Cup meeting. And, Marty, you love the Snake Gully Cup.
I love a good Snake Gully, yeah.
It's one of the big ones. But keep an eye out for Roccolini on Friday. I believe we're going around in a 1400 out there. So keep an eye on that. It was very nice, very nice.
Well done. Thanks, Sul. And we'll talk next week, and we'll see you when you get over here. Yes?
Marty, got a little play.
Oh, yes.
Hello.
Today.
Hello.
On Tab Touch. Let's go try any time. I'm going to go Isabella Kelly from the Gillaroos in the Brian To'o from Samoa.
Oh. Is that sister of, cousin of?
What's that?
Is it a sister or cousin of Brian?
No, Brian To'o. It is into Brian To'o.
Oh, he is the man.
Isabella Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Isabella Kelly into Brian To'o.
All right, we go bang, bang.
Yeah, that's bang, bang in the 2 games
Love
today.
it.
And
Love
boys, to the listeners, if I don't talk to you again this year, obviously the end of our rugby league season, thank you for everything through 2025. We've had some fun on a Sunday, we've had some fun on a Thursday, and we've had a lot of fun on Friday nights.
That's the truth, Sol. Love your work as always, mate. Enjoy your Sunday. Go Roccolini.
Stay safe, boys.
See you, Sol. James Sullivan there. Right, let's get into some texts. This is Mick at Allenbrook. Morning, boys. I love waking up to your show on a dusty Sunday. When the MRC were trying to get young people back to the tracks in the late 90s, they realised that if they get the girls to the track, guess who follows? The boys. Being at Ascot recently, it seems the same thing is happening, and it's great. Irish Day was a great example. Please let us know what's happening with the takeover. We will do there, Mick, as soon as we know. Right, next one. Marty Shortte, the gold medal award must go to the brave fans who went to the Flemington race meeting yesterday. The elements didn't stop them from enjoying their day, and Shortte, you and I had this chat. And this will be one of those days when you think, I'm not going to go today. It's too cold. I'll just go down the Emerald. I'll watch it at the pub. And your mate went, and you're looking at him going, wow, I wish I had have.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it's worth just rolling up the sleeves and putting up with a little bit of discomfort for the joy that can come out of it. And to be fair, while it looked cold, like you have a look at the post-race around Fisher, and the punters have got the see-through plastic ponchos and stuff on, and it didn't seem to worry them one iota late in the piece. A little bit of singing syrup and away we go.
Away you go. Back a few winners, that warms you up as well. Surely if you have a 3-year-old filly who'll go champion fillies over the Guineas after watching the Fairreath, the first 4 across the line, all outstanding, will fight the finish of the Guineas. No argument there. Not sure who that was. The trainer of Tentaris, or trainers, Anthony and Sam Freeman, should be hauled into the steward's room and suspended for lying in public all week. They continually stated that if the track was downgraded to heavy, the horse will be scratched. Absolute tripe. Mark of Vic Park. Well, it was scratched, Mark. 5.25 for Bryce over 35 is an absolute moral.
Oh,
he's had this game circled for months. I hope he sticks it. Mark Arena and Danny Mills for crapping in the bed. That's Clint.
Good on you, Clint. There's part of me that agrees with that.
There's a big part of me that agrees that he could have 35 line right up.
I know, listening to Lockie through the week, he's predicting 50 plus.
Well, there you go. Now, the Premier League overnight, Tottenham Hotspur 2, Man United 2.
Ooh.
Everton 2, Fulham 0, West Ham. Boy, gee, did you see what they come out and did? they've walked away from the poppy. You know how they wear the poppies because it's Remembrance Day coming up. It doesn't align with the club's values anymore. We appreciate the work that all the veterans have done in the past, but this doesn't align with our future values of the club.
What?
Fair dinkum.
Are you joking?
No, it's on their website. Sunderland 2, Arsenal 2, and Chelsea 3, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0.
Way to alienate your supporter group.
Here's a young man who can hold his own with the microphones around. Mack Hall, a very good morning.
Good morning, boys. How are we?
Going very well indeed. Thank you, Mack. Nice to have your company. Excited about the race day coming up today?
Yeah, absolutely. I always look forward to York Cup Day. It's a great day and can't wait to get out there.
You've loaded the bases.
Certainly have, yeah. We've sort of targeted this meeting, pretty much every York meeting for the last couple of years, and I'm always happy to take horses up there.
All right, well, let's work through your chances throughout the course of the day. And with the stable going well, there may well be a couple of results for the punters to get involved with throughout the course of the day today. Starting things off in race number 3. And Pretty Divine goes around here. What are the prospects with Shani Webster on board?
Yeah, I think she's a good chance. I mean, that win first up was pretty much a bonus. She wasn't anywhere near fit, I didn't think, and we sort of just sent her there as a second trial, and she happened to get the money, so it was really good. And she paid the price in the rating, so we took her back to town and dropped a couple of points in her last 2 runs, and this is going to really suit her back in grade. Nice draw, should lead, and she should be there for a while.
Bit of a track specialist, 7 starts for 3 wins.
Yeah, she seems to love it up there. For whatever reason, she rolls down that hill and kicks away by a couple of lengths, and they've got to reel her in. But she's been a great horse for us over the journey. I mean, we bought her for $6,000, and we've had her for 2 years, and she's won us about 100. So can't complain. That's
a transaction you'd like to make a few times in your life, Mack, that's for sure. And accordingly, I'm sure it would be a little bit of a favourite on the way through. Having a look at race number 4, the Darry's Plumbing and Gas. Tropical Sun goes around in this race along with Elsa's Pride. Take us through your thoughts for that duo going around here over the 1,100 metres.
Elsa's Pride's a horse we've had some problems with this prep. She's been a little bit unsound, so hence she's had 1 run at 2J and then a little bit of a freshen, and she's drawn a bit sticky again, but she's really quick, so she should jump out and lead. And then Tropical Sun's the one probably with the better form this preparation. First 2 runs were really good. Took her to town the other day, and it was one of those races where sort of nothing could make ground, and she followed Esther Mirando everywhere it went, and it didn't take us anywhere, and they sort of finished back together, and the form stood up pretty good out of that race. So I think out of the 2, she'd be the one to be on. She's going to get a lovely run, and Rocky knows her well, and she loves these sort of circuits. So what's the lovely run look like? Just off the speed? I think so. You can't. It's not a horse that you can bustle early. I'd like to see her sort of hold the box seat or one out, one back, but she probably won't be able to. I wouldn't be afraid to have her a pair further back and let her come with a rattling run. I think she reeled off 32 something the other day when she went there. Yep. So she can reel off a section. I know they can at York, but she'll be hard to hold out if she can do that again. All right, Cheryl Shout goes around in the Saddlery Wholesalers Handicap over the 1,300 metres. Again, nice ride for Shani Webster. Draws out there in barrier 8. Yeah, a bit of a tricky draw, but she come through that run last week so well. She just chased the leader and it never stopped. So she come through it so well that I thought, this race was there, and good opportunity to use Shani's claim. And just sort of, while it's drawn a bit sticky, I feel like if she can step cleanly like she has been, she can either posse outside the leader or press right on with it, and she should be pretty hard to beat. Her form's been pretty sound this prep. I feel like she's a better horse the second time round since I've had her, and hopefully she's up to sort of midweek grade. So yeah, she should be taking care of these if she's as good as what we think she is. Okay, hasn't been to York before. A bit unusual for one of yours. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to take her. She's been. We've had too good of an opinion of her. Okay, so is that opinion starting to
to weaken a bit, or you just need to get this win on the board to get her in the right frame of mind?
I'm trying to just, sort of just get her a win and get the confidence back. Like, she went bang, bang last prep, and then we took her to town and probably threw her in the deep end a bit quick. And then this prep, she's come back really well, and probably, like, first up at Cal, she's run second to Lavish Charm, and they gapped the rest, and then she's sat 3 deep in town and run fourth, and then the other day she ran second at 1 o'clock somewhere, and they gapped the rest. So she's just finding one better, and hopefully today there's none that she finds better.
No sleepers.
Yeah, hopefully.
Now, a bit of excitement around the camp salary man going around. Of course, so far our producer involved, and she's already given me the J-bow with both hands in the air. Exciting times with salary man for all of the crew there this afternoon. It's been a really consistent campaign. The horse just keeps fronting up and racing particularly well. How will salary man go this afternoon, Mack?
Oh, I'd like to think he'd go well. He's pretty deep into a preparation now, but he keeps pulling up good. And I know he's run 6 the other day, but his run was probably better than what it looked. He sort of got caught flat-footed and then come again. So we've got a bit of a plan today. And I was rapt to wake up this morning and see that heaps of Moolahs come out. So takes a bit of speed out the race, and hopefully Taj can get him out and get him rolling and get down that hill, because I think he's a fit horse, and we'll ride him accordingly.
Okay, little gear change there. Blinkers off, visors on.
Yeah, just tinkering around. He's sort of deep into a prep, and we're coming back a couple of 100 metres, so I just want to change something up with him just ever so slightly, and hopefully that can make the difference.
And then we bring it home with Alunda Star and Rivercrest Magic in race number 9 on the program race number 8, pardon me, on the program this afternoon. Can you round out the card with a winner, Mack?
I hope so. Rivercrest Magic's the one that's sort of been a little bit unlucky since I've had her. She was a big run at her first run at York for me, and then since then she's just been a bit stiff. She's been held up a couple of times with Shani, so Kes jumps back on. A bit of speed in the race should suit. She'll get to the outside and be finishing powerfully, and Alunda Star probably needs one more run before we see the best of her. She's going to be better out to a mile, and she's just building fitness.
Good insights into your horses there. Now let's put the pressure on and find your best for the afternoon at York.
It'd be easy to say Cheryl Shout, but I'm a big fan of Tropical Sun today. I'd be disappointed if she got beat.
Cheryl Shout, but Tropical Sun. Mack, fantastic work, mate. Hope it all works out well for you at York today, and thanks for coming on.
No worries. Thank you, boys.
All the best, Mack, and good luck to the York Race Club as well today, Marty. Hope they have a ripper time.
How's that day going to be? What's the weather like over there?
It's stunning, absolutely stunning. So down the road there at Northam, 30 and sunny. Here in the Metro, 30 and sunny. So you'd be very, very similar there at the old Lionel York today. Make no mistake about that.
Underneath, mate, Mount Bakewell. Cobb will give that a couple of mentions, I reckon, throughout the day.
But you'd like to be sure of going home with some money in the bank tonight, Marty. I'll give you the tip.
The picturesque. Prior to Sen taking over, is there a chance of getting Big Wes in for a chat? Maybe you, Richie Bell, and Big Wes half an hour together on air. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. We'd love it. We'd love to, but
yeah, we'd love it. I still remember the farewell for Wes and him telling us about some of his employment to build a bit of a bank for some of the carnivals over the years. Oh, geez, he'll forever be one of my all-time favourite workmates, Wes Cameron.
No
Such an entertainer.
Rick from Rossmoyne, Marty Shortte, you would think that jockeys would now know that whip use is now front of mind. Chad Schofield was suspended for 11 meetings and fined $35,000 for his whip use before the 100 metres on Chow Wolf. Thankfully, Damien Lane was not cited yesterday for whip use after his last 2 penalties. He must be very nervous. What's your view on the whip rule? I'm not a great fan of the whip rule, and I can understand why they... we probably need to get a jockey on to talk about this, really. But you would think a rush of blood, you can only hit it so many times to that point, and
I'll tell you, it's very difficult. Let me put it this way: the jockeys are now being left in the most awkward situation, because if they go for the whip 1 or 2 times less than what they should, they get questioned as to whether or not they are riding the horse out fully to get the best result for the connections. If they go 1 too many, they're told that they're riding too hard. I'd prefer to be riding too hard than not hard enough, personally.
Yep. Now,
that way you can't be questioned.
Boulder Barney in capitals. I love Boulder Barney in caps. I can read them. Day, lads, just touching on the soap opera of Aussie Test side. Where would they be if Marnus hadn't got some runs and George has to go as a selector? I think the guy's out of touch.
Interesting. They are at a transitional stage, and at different stages when Justin Langer moved on and Andrew McDonald came into the setup, I'll put my hand up. I thought it was disrespectful the way that they handled that, and particularly given when Langer took over, the controversy that Australian cricket was in with all of the dramas that had happened with Sandpaper Gate up in South Africa, and given the time and investment and results that they'd got, I thought that was... I don't think he got the plaudits he deserved on the way out, is probably the best way of saying it. And so, accordingly, I said the next mob would want to make sure they do this properly and get the results. To be fair, Australian cricket over the last 6 or 7, well, basically since McDonald's taken over, there's not many tournaments they haven't won. We've taken out most of the test matches. We've remained one of the top 1 or 2 sides in world cricket through that period of time. So it's hard to be critical given the results that they have produced. I'll say that.
Winning on the subcontinent.
Exactly. They've done a lot of good things. Now, what I will say, though, is that this list that they've had all of this success with is getting very close to being time to cash out. So we've got the pace trio of Stark, Hazelwood and Cummins. Cummins is going to miss the first test. Stark and Hazelwood have done a lot of work over the years. Nathan Lyon's very close to finishing. I think this has to be the last series for Usman Khawaja personally. I'd be looking for my next opener. Steve Smith is not a young man anymore. So you look at that particular lineup. Even Carey's not a crazy young guy. Travis Head is not a super young guy. Green is about the only sort of fellow in that lineup that you look at and say he's sort of under 25, and you look at it and go, well, he's a guy that is the youngest in the setup at the moment. So they do need to start looking for what's underneath, and there may be a period where we have a lot of inexperienced players come into the side at the same time, which then generally creates inconsistent results. So we have to, but you can't be at the top forever. It always is going to take time to transition when you bring new people in, and we're going to have to put up with that. What I would say is the here and now, let's win the Ashes and enjoy that. And then if we have to have a bit of downtime, we'll deal with it when we have to.
Boulder Barney, thanks for the text on that Retrovision text line.
Racing. Starlight Snowy began quickly on the inside. West on model show speed, and look at the speed coming across from out wide. Just to Piastri and also La Castellet. There was trouble behind them. Dividend, Justin Newson's found trouble, but around the back straight and racing clear was Just to Piastri. Out by 5 lengths. La Castellet runs into second, then followed by Next Thing You Know. Deep on the track was Flop Shot. Back on the inside, Starlight Snowy well back. West on model and Justin Newson's, but on the corner, and it's Just to Piastri in front, well clear of La Castellet, and Just to Piastri breaks through and wins by 6 lengths. Second goes to La Castellet. Third across the line was
Flop didn't Shot. This fly the lids, and that was all she wrote. And Chris Halse joins us to talk about the win last night. Very good morning, Chris.
Morning, guys. How are we?
Yeah, really well, thanks, Chris. Appreciate your time this morning here on the Aftermath, and congratulations to yourself, Justin, all the team that would have been delighted. Just to Piastri showed that very good early burn, 5:47 from box number 8, as Marty alluded to. That was enough to see the greyhound right up on tempo, and from there turned it into a one-dog affair, a very comfortable win.
Yeah, no, it was exciting to watch, and it was. He's just, he's only young, but he did everything right, and he's actually learning a lot in the first 4 or 5 starts he's had. So he sort of corrected himself, realised he was going to crash initially, and corrected himself, and just showed good toe. And then, he's a nice little young dog.
Well, this is a race, as you know, Chris, steeped in tradition and history, generally reserved for a lot of dogs that go on to become top-flight performers, greyhounds of the year, stud dogs, proper quality brood bitches, and being by Tommy Shelby out of West on Violet, the pedigree certainly there.
Yeah, look, the first litter was phenomenal, that mating, that cross, and then there was only 3 in this litter, and they're just sort of finding their feet. At the moment, and he's got. If he gets a little bit stronger, it's the first litter really just all stayers. But these ones coming through a bit more like sprinters and out of the same breeding. So hopefully they keep their head straight and learn as they go along and become nice, handy dogs all the way through the top grade.
Chris, how many siblings are in that litter?
Just 3. The bitch and 2 dogs. Just the Foreman ran second last night. It was a nice run, and the other bitch is up to their standard at the moment, but she's got a bit of growing up to. She's a bit immature, so hopefully she turns into a nice dog too.
And once again, Justin Warwick, the magic touch applied. So he bred this litter. He owns this litter. It's phenomenal, the success that he's had in a relatively short space of time. Chris, he's teamed up with yourself and Linda, and straight away, bang, that magic formula, everything he seems to touch just turns to gold. He's had a great run in the greyhound world.
Yeah, no, you couldn't complain. He got 2 nice. Linda gave him 2 nice bitches to breed with initially, and produced Couch, Surfer, and Co. And the next with the other 2 in the Young Stars last night, which he bred. So he bred all 3 of our runners in the Young Stars last night. So it's better than he's happy. He's done so well with it.
It's extraordinary. He does know how to find a nice animal.
Can we just break it there? He dominated here at Gloucester Park for all of those years, right?
Correct.
Goes to horse racing, dominates there at horse racing, and says, I'll go breed a few greyhounds.
Bang. Bingo, bango, bongo. He's got all 3 codes covered, Chris.
Wow.
Not many have done that over the years.
You're listening, JT, you're a freak.
No, he's been, we jumped on his bandwagon. Linda's got probably a heap of shares in horses with Justin as well, so
yeah.
We actually went straight from Ascot yesterday to having a beer. We had He's a Phoenix ran second to Farita. So
big run.
We went up, just got from there to the dogs in time to help Kennel last night, and then had a good night. Went and celebrated with him actually afterwards, so it was good. Excellent.
Oh, it's the way to do it. It's good to have good people involved, and I actually love the crossover. It's spectacular to have everybody involved in all 3 codes and share the love and get involved. At the end of the day, we're all on the same team, and it's great to see the success. Now, Chris, didn't end there. Plenty of other success on the program. You'd be pretty happy. You got some really nice dogs in your care at the moment, and accordingly, the results are there. Tommy the Lion was a nice winner of the free for all for the stayers there last night.
Yeah, look, that whole litter is West on Violets again that he bred, and that's Linda's LMR Fever line, obviously, and then he's touched. But Tommy the Lion, the brother, or the sisters, they're all going to be handy stayers as they get older, and they can all run the whole litter. And it's just, as you said, he might be touched.
Big time. There's something in it, I think. There's no doubt about that. Chris, we really appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning. It was another stunning win. Your name is synonymous when it comes to these big feature races, but again, at Group 3 level there last night, just a Piastri, having a very bright future in store, having won that at just the 6th race start there last night. Thanks for joining us. Continued success, whatever code it is. Keep booting home those winners, Chris.
Cheers, guys. Catch us.
Chris Halse, absolute legendary trainer from the world of greyhound racing here locally. And Justin Warwick, Marty, it is extraordinary. And you raise a really good point, I think, back to, and that's you coming up for 30 years ago that he was buying those claimers at Ted Barry and all these different horses for small amounts of money, bringing them here, taking them over to the East Coast and having success and racing with great success here. Turns the arm to the thoroughbred racing, trains winners.
Then he just disappeared. Remember, he went back selling real estate or something?
Yeah, for a little while. Yeah, had a break. But then came back and was buying. He bought a couple of horses really cheaply at the sales, go on to be $3, $4, $5 million horses on the way through.
He just makes money all the way through. He's a genius.
He's been unbelievable at the Caper.
You've been very good at the Caper yourself today, Shorty. We've got through all those Retrovision text line texts, although thanks for all your efforts, boys. Dave of South Perth, thanks for that. The Racing Rewind team are starting to fill the studio, so we better get out of here.
Lock's looking well this morning.
He's had a good day.